Hello and welcome to IGPP Expert Talks. I am Heena Goswami, Editorial Consultant with IGPP, Institute for Governance, Policies and Politics, New Delhi. In the election season that just passed, as we were busy on our social media contemplating who would form the government and who would be the next chief minister, there were young reporters on the ground checking the pulse of these states and bringing to our attention issues that decided the fate of these states. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Ms. Ishita Mishra, who travelled across the length and breadth of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan to test the mood of the voters. Ishita is a special correspondent with the Hindu, India's leading English newspaper. Welcome to IGPP Expert Talks. Do tell us what states, what places you visited, and your experience in the whole election season. We have been told that election season is sort of like a form of entertainment, especially for voters who would sit on chai ka stalls and they would discuss the issues that would decide the election, right? How was your experience, and what was the mood of the voters? How would they picking up the issues, right? We see that social media has become a venue of information, misinformation. How did that play a role?
In Madhya Pradesh, I chose Bundelkhand region to travel. It's a drought prone. Everybody knows Bundelkhand only because there were multiple droughts. It's underdeveloped area of already underdeveloped state of Madhya Pradesh. Then it also has a lot of tribal population. So, and this was my first visit to Bundelkhand. I've never been in any of the cities in the Madhya Pradesh part of Bundelkhand. In Rajasthan, I traveled to places like Udaipur, Baswara, Dungarpur, Sirohi. They are also again the tribal belt, very nearby to Gujarat. So, and this was again the first visit to this area of Rajasthan. So I at least can say that I was just going with very open mind. Like I've never been to these places. Uh, I didn't know anyone personally there. It was just like I wanted to do speak to people in tribal areas, which is again a very political parties. All the political parties are focusing on this particular section of society, tribals. So that was the first thing why I chose these places to travel. Also, I also wanted to particularly ensure that I travel to the rural areas of the states because most of the voters come out to vote in large numbers in villages. The urban people use it as a holiday, the voting day as a holiday. So I think in 5-6 days of stay there, uh, obviously I can feel that yes, you very rightly said that it's a entertainment. The elections have become a source of entertainment for people. Even I personally like those songs which political parties uh, produce during elections very much. So I could see people using those ringtones in their mobiles and things like that. They were socializing, obviously. The best way to judge the pulse of people is on a chai tapri, anywhere in the heartland. People of all sections come there. You'll find BJP, BSP, Congress supporters at one platform. I think with social media, people are now have this. It's a weapon for voters. They're using it very wisely also. Like uh, I have seen people had like earlier they used to say something and they were not very confident enough whether I am convinced with that thing which they are telling me or not. But now they have proofs in hand. Like there was one instance where a voter just told me that this was Rahul Gandhi said in one of his rallies. And when I said I have not heard him saying that, then he had a video on his WhatsApp. Look at this. So I was on back foot because it was my mistake that I haven't heard his last rally or something. the social media was a source of both information and misinformation. There was no way to check, no way for them to at least check this, but they were just using it, consuming this information as per their convenience. So I think on the ground, I uh, felt that voter has become very smart. Credit goes to social media, and I would say that they have also become very smart enough to uh, choose the audience they are talking to. Like if everywhere I have gone, I was asked, I had to answer this question that where are you from? So if you are from MP or if you are from Rajasthan, they'll talk to you differently. If I'm from Delhi, then which channel I am from? Then if I'm not from a channel, which newspaper I am from. Sometimes they even ask me to show my ID card to them. If I'm not lying, I'm not some politicians who's here to judge them or maybe whatever they were thinking. And then they knew that if I am from, I will not name the news channels or something. If I am from this, they have to talk good things about BJP. If I am from this particular channel or news, they have to talk good things about Congress or maybe some other political party. Uh, I will just recall an instance where somebody just knew that had a perception that my newspaper was not very pro BJP newspaper, and he just said कि इनसे बात करना बेकार है. Like, यहाँ she will not be able to understand that why we are voting for BJP. So these kind of things reporters are facing, but I have particularly faced, and I think one more factor that was important is that the places where I traveled alone as a woman, it was MP. I was on my own traveling across this districts like Chhatarpur, Panna, Tikamgarh and all. They're all very interior areas. So there people were more outspoken or comfortable speaking to me. While in Rajasthan, I also had a couple of colleagues with me. My photographer was also coming along. So I could see that there was reluctance when they see camera. So sometime I even had to ask my photographer to just maybe hide his camera or just keep it in the car so that people can speak to me the way they want to.
What were the issues on people's mind in these states, and do the geographical, social, and the gender location of voters define what issues are most important to them?
Yeah, of course. So the area people living in, uh, that geography matters to them, and they vote for the development of those areas. There are some, like in Bundelkhand, I met so many people who were very serious about things like the water problem in that area. They were very serious about things like migration because there's water scarcity. It was ultimately hampering the agriculture process. So the young people of their families were moving to cities to earn a livelihood. So obviously, it was a great matter of concern for the mothers who, like most of her sons and daughters, have to go to cities to work, and they are only coming back home on Diwali and during the other festivals. In Rajasthan, also, I felt the same thing that people had issues with things like law and order. They had issues with roads, connectivity, mobile networks, and many other. But personally, I would say that they, I found them very, very serious about certain issues pertaining to their geography and all, but they voted far differently. So,
Uh, in Madhya Pradesh this time, and even on previous occasions, like in Bihar, we have seen that in Madhya Pradesh this time, Ladli Behin Yojana was very much popular, and it has been seen as one of the factors why BJP won. So women are being seen as different constituency and altogether different constituency, and parties are making their strategies and policy to cater to them. Does that resonate on the ground? Like, do women see themselves as women voters and vote? Are their voting patterns or choices different from men?
So I can say that why do we make women as a like separate entity? Like when we say that if men are turning up to vote, they vote as tribals, they vote as minority, they vote as maybe thinking about particular caste or something. Women also vote in the same pattern. This is what I feel. My experience from the ground was like if I was meeting a farmer's wife, she had the same sentimental issues which was actually being faced by the entire family, by her husband, and maybe sons who are also engaged in farming. So, yes, now because the political party are approaching to them very aggressively, women have started voting uh, without asking their men. Like, even if they are being tutored at home that this is the party you were supposed to vote for, nobody has control that on which button they are pressing behind that whatever that EVM thing that we have outside this during voting. So I would say that women are not above the caste politics of this country. Women are not above the major issues of this country. But yes, now they are coming up to vote, and I think they are choosing which party to vote for. But they are also like having the issues of both men and women are not different.
In Rajasthan, we saw that the government has been changed, while that is not the case in Madhya Pradesh. However, opposite was the narrative before election that people said there was a lot of anti-incumbency against the sitting chief minister in Madhya Pradesh, not as much in Rajasthan. There have been, political analysts who have argued that in this day and age, like people do not seek to change government as much as they did previously. How was it on the ground? Like, were people eager for a change, or did people want to continue with the same kind of welfare and governance that they were receiving?
So I think this is a very tricky question which nobody has answer for that what people had in their mind because these three the results of these particularly these three states have actually shocked everybody, including the political parties which have lost and whoever has won. But I think this anti-incumbency thing and how the political analysts were seeing it, now they should start contemplating whether this is actually a factor in Indian elections or it is not at all. Because this anti-incumbency thing was also there in the UP elections. This is the reason why the Samajwadi Party formed alliance with every big and small party in the state because they had this perception that there is too much anti-incumbency against the Yogi Adityanath government, and it failed. Same was the thing when in 2019 during general elections as well, people were thinking that anti-incumbency may play a spoiler for BJP, but it never happened. So in if you ask me that people were earlier used to think that they should change the government, so in Madhya Pradesh, they are not thinking to change the government for now 25 years after the next 5 years. In Rajasthan, they are changing government like for last 20 25 years. So I personally not in a position to answer this question whether this anti-incumbency or incumbency factors worked in elections at all or not.
In Rajasthan, despite Congress's loss, it did manage to win a respectable number of seats. Do you think that is a reflection? Was there a reflection of the success of the schemes and the welfare policies that Gehlot began with? Like, did it was there an impact of those schemes on the ground?
Yeah, so especially the that health related scheme that Gallup government has given to people and the food, the free food and the cheap food that people in the state were getting, this actually helped people a lot, especially because people were traveling from the rural areas to the urban areas for work and all. Because the rural areas are too much underdeveloped in both Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. I met women who were getting, who were very happy with the this health card schemes and all. People were also happy with the promises that the Congress government has made about the electricity bill, the bill waiver, and I think in the last, the government was also pressing on Chhattisgarh model that they'll waive off the farm loans and all. But again, uh, people have not voted accordingly.
But were people happy with the scheme? So
Yes, so
probably
yes. In most of the areas, though I have traveled, I remain confined to this part of Rajasthan where tribal people were more. But because I met some people, and I also gone to Jaipur a couple of months before election. I also traveled to Jalore a couple of months before election. So there I can see that people were happy with the schemes introduced by the Congress government.
in Madhya Pradesh, amongst the issues that decided the election, one could say that Shivraj Singh Chauhan was able to form a connect with the women voters and the OBC voters, and there was an emotional appeal from his side that nahi raunga to yaad karoge. So, do you think that the same was not the case with Congress leaders, and their social elitism played a role in was a factor in voters making the electoral choice?
So, yes, Shivraj Chauhan's connect with not just women voters or OBC voters, his connect with everybody in MP is quite strong. And this has to be because he's the chief minister for like 18 years. So, and he's a hardworking guy. He travels a lot. He meets a lot of people. I have seen people who told me that he can stop his car if he knows you just to say hi or maybe to ask how your family is doing and things like that. So the people like Shivraj, those old time politicians, like I will say Harish Rawat in Uttarakhand, he's also a same kind of chief minister. Like I would say Mulayam Yadav in UP, who can name any person in Mainpuri. He remembers their name. He had such personal connect with people. So yes, Shivraj Chauhan has that personal connect with people in Madhya Pradesh, but that is also because he is the chief minister for such a long time. In Congress, uh, I would say that I would call it elite. I won't use this term, but yes, I think that Congress become a little overconfident for its victory, and maybe that harmed them in the last level of election.
In the aftermath of the elections, like there was much talk about how Congress was playing a soft Hindutva card that did not succeed, but people ultimately there were voices that said that people voted based on a majoritarian agenda. How true is that from your assessment, and away from the speeches of leaders and the strategies of parties, is there rise in an autonomous Hindutva politics where you don't see BJP playing that kind of a Hindutva pitch this time, but people have their own interpretations of world affairs happening, and putting them in their own imagination of Hindutva imagination.
No, so I don't know how you were saying that BJP was not playing the Hindutva card during elections. In the last few days, very senior leaders, including Prime Minister, was very hard on Hindutva. In Rajasthan, he was I think was the first person who like recalled this Kanhaiya Lal killing. In Madhya Pradesh, also in many of his rallies, Shivraj Chauhan in I think in 90% of his rallies, including Prime Minister in some, were saying things like uh, which were communal in nature. In Shivraj Chauhan's one of his rallies, I saw him telling women that बिंदी चूड़ी नहीं पहन पाओगे if they will come in power. By they, he meant Congress. So this was also something related to communal. And even if uh, they were not coming upfront with the Hindutva thing. The core BJP workers who are working in the field, managing the booths, going door to door for campaigning and canvassing, they were all very hard on this thing, and that is how this entire perception was created, that you were talking about the word affairs being like. I would like to recall my conversation with my taxi driver in Rajasthan, who took me to Sirohi. He was telling me that how I will have no option to go anywhere if something like Israel and Hamas happens to India, because I won't be able to travel to Pakistan. It's already an enemy country. So he was very aggressive in telling me that where will I go. So it's very important for him, even if he's paying 200 rupees for petrol, it's okay, but it's very important for him to save his religion and first think for voting for a political party which ensures that his religious identity is saved. So it had played a very important factor. Ram Mandir had played a very important factor during elections. People were talking about it, people were happy, and even the IT cells of both political parties were using things like, there were messages being circulated by political party for Ram Mandir, then maybe some other things which were related to religion and all. So I think uh, this is benefiting BJP presently, and I think it will benefit anyone who will use it in the long run.
I think it's a message that is ultimately coming from the ranks of the party, BJP. These messages that are being, interpreted, or is it like some version that people have formed of their own? Of
It can be both ways. I think what political parties do, they sense what voter wants, and the political party which gives you what you want is the party you vote for. So I think it's working both ways. This is what people want, and this is what is being delivered.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much.